Bruce Lee's prestigious family. In 1940, as the flames of World War II spread across China, Bruce Lee's parents traveled to the United States to seek refuge. On December 27, 1940, a name destined to impact the world was born: Bruce Lee. He was born in San Francisco, California. Bruce Lee's grandfather was a martial arts bodyguard in Foshan, his maternal grandfather a wealthy Hong Kong businessman, and his cousin is Macau's gambling king, Stanley Ho. Lee's father, Lee Hai-kwan, was one of the four great actors of Cantonese opera, an outstanding performer. Bruce Lee's mother, of Eurasian descent, has Dutch Jewish ancestry, and her family has a prominent background, deeply connected to the family of Macau gambling king Stanley Ho. Behind Bruce Lee is actually a very large and wealthy family in Hong Kong. This family possesses immense wealth and influence in Hong Kong. This is the family tree of Bruce Lee. Let's start with the story of Bruce Lee's great-grandmother's disciple. In the 19th century, along the coastal areas of Guangdong, a young woman named Shidi wrote an incredible life legend with her extraordinary courage and wisdom. Shidi was born into a poor family in Bao'an, Guangdong, and as a child, she was sold to a fishing boat at the port. She didn't want to live that kind of life forever, so she later went to Hong Kong. In 1842, the Qing government signed the Treaty of Nanking. Hong Kong became a British colony and turned into an open port. Many foreigners flooded in, and in Hong Kong, Shidi met someone who would change the course of her life. A Dutchman named Ho Tung. Ho Tung was a Dutch Jew born in Rotterdam, and that is his Chinese name. Before he even reached adulthood, he joined a Dutch trading company and arrived in Hong Kong. Many years later, he met Shidi. In that era, it was very fortunate for a woman like Shidi, who had no one to rely on, to find a foreigner to depend on. That was very fortunate. Many foreigners in Hong Kong also traveled from afar. In a foreign land, he was also happy to find a Chinese woman to be his wife. After more than 10 years of marriage, Shidi gave birth to 4 sons and 1 daughter for Ho Tung. However, the financial pressure on Ho Tung gradually became overwhelming, and his business wasn't improving much. So, Ho Tung left Shidi, saying he wanted to try his luck in other countries. And then he did. Ho Tung then abandoned them, returning to Europe. Later, he married the daughter of another wealthy Chinese businessman. He ultimately died in Britain. Her husband suddenly left, leaving her with a younger brother and several hungry children. The saying, "Women are gentle but mothers are strong," is perfectly embodied in her. For the sake of her children, she didn't hesitate to rely on her looks to take on odd jobs. As a dancer, she eventually caught the eye of the wealthy businessman Guo Xingxian in Hong Kong, and became the concubine of her younger brother's mixed-race children. Living under someone else's roof, they endured a lot of disdain. However, they had one advantage. They were exposed to the cultural influences of 2 countries. Growing up in a wealthy family, they received a good elite education, especially in the context of those times. They were active in international trade. They played the most important role as compradors, establishing the most powerful family in Hong Kong's history. Dong. He is the eldest son of the family who lost their land. He started as a translator, and then learned finance. He became the first richest man in Hong Kong, before he was 40. Sun Yat-sen, Kang Yue and Chiang Kai-shek were friends of his, and he funded Sun Yat-sen's revolution. He supported the nationalist. Later on, he also funded the nationalist government. This man had immense influence. This photo shows Dong with Queen Mary of England at the British Empire exhibition in 1924. Ho Tung also had a good relationship with the famous movie star Ruan Lingyu. Interestingly, Ho Tung considered himself Chinese all his life, and he consistently insisted on wearing traditional Chinese clothing. Now, let's take a look at the precious footage from the golden wedding anniversary of He Qidong, the richest man in Hong Kong, in 1931. It can be said that it was a gathering of high officials and wealthy families, an unprecedented grand event. He Qidong's son, He Shili, was once an advisor to Zhang Xueliang and held the rank of two-star general in the army. Ho Xilai graduated from the Saint-Gilles Military School, the imperial military school founded by Napoleon. French President Charles de Gaulle and Marshal Tassigny were both his alumni. Interestingly, he has also always wanted to renounce his British citizenship, and even asked the court in Shanghai to arbitrate his Chinese citizenship. He Shili dedicated himself to the war of resistance, working with allies. After victory, he was in Guangzhou. In 1949, he moved to Taiwan and became a two-star general in 1959. He Dong died in Hong Kong at 97, named He Shili's successor. In 1962, He Shili resigned to run family business in Hong Kong. By his death, in 1998, his estate exceeded 15 billion HKD. Next, we discuss He Qidong's daughter, He Jingzi. Subsequently, in 1962, Ho Xilai resigned from the military and returned to Hong Kong to concentrate on running the family business. By 1998, when He Shili passed away, his estate was estimated by outsiders to have already exceeded 15 billion Hong Kong dollars. Next, we have He Qidong's daughter, He Jingzi. She was married to Law Man Kam, the first local lawyer of Chinese descent to be admitted to the profession in Hong Kong. His father, Luo Changzhao, is one of the four prominent families in Hong Kong. Next, we have He Jifu, who is also a top figure in Hong Kong. He worked as an agent for Jardine Matheson and Sassoon, and he also served in the Legislative Council. His son, He Shiguang, was the first Chinese member of the Hong Kong Legislative Council, and is also the well-known father of Macau's gambling king, He Hongshen. He worked as a comprador for Jardine Matheson and Sassoon & Co., and his son, Ho Sai Kwong, once worked in the Legislative Council. He Shiguang was the first Chinese member of the Legislative Council in Hong Kong, and also the father of the famous gambling king of Macau, He Hongshen. He Hongshen was born in Hong Kong, China, and is a well-known entrepreneur in Hong Kong and Macau, often referred to as the King of Gambling. He founded the Macau Tourism and Entertainment Company, Sincere Group Limited, and Macau Gaming Company Limited dominate the gaming industry in Macau. He Hongshen's business empire spans multiple sectors, including real estate, transportation, hotels, investments, gambling, and tourism. His personal wealth once reached 70 billion Hong Kong dollars, with controlled assets peaking at 500 billion Hong Kong dollars. The next person is also very important, as he is Bruce Lee's grandfather. His businesses spanned across the finance industry, spinning, coal, and groceries. He once founded Guanghua Hospital and received the Jiahe Medal awarded by the national government 4 times. Of course, he was also quite a charismatic figure. Li Manchuan had a total of 13 concubines and countless lovers, with a total of 29 children. And this doesn't even include his illegitimate children. Li Manchuan had an adopted daughter, and IU is none other than Bruce Lee's mother. He was also of mixed heritage. Bruce Lee's father is named Li Haiquan. His real name is Lee Manchuan. Bruce Lee's grandfather, a martial artist, was a bodyguard in Foshan. The Lee family influenced Hong Kong society, providing Bruce with resources and connections in arts and martial arts, aiding his entertainment industry experience. Bruce Lee's success boosted Hong Kong kung fu films and its international cultural status. His family contributed to Hong Kong's business and cultural fields. It also helped him build important connections and gain experience in the Hong Kong entertainment industry. Bruce Lee's success not only boosted the prosperity of Hong Kong kung fu films, it also elevated Hong Kong's status. His family contributed significantly to Hong Kong's business and culture. Bruce Lee was a cultural icon, bridging East and West. Bruce Lee himself became an important bridge for cultural exchange between the East and West. A cultural icon recognized worldwide.
Chinese, or do you ever think of yourself as North American? You know what I want to think of myself as a human being. I mean, I don't want to sound like, Confucius says, but under the sky, under heaven, there is but one family. It just so happened that people are different.